I was asked a question about cleaning data. I thought I would answer by showing you just a very little about cleaning data. You'll note what you're looking at is a very small data set and is not the one you've been given. The point of cleaning data is to ensure accuracy, and you can read more about that in the link I provided. But generally, I want you to know that it's very easy to make a mistake when entering data, especially when it's a large data set. And there are plenty of things people do, like have someone go behind them and check, a second set of eyes looking at what was entered. But for this, we're going to look at this very small data set, so it's a little bit easier to notice and to see what's going on. Okay, first, let's consider missing data, because that's a part of cleaning the data. Missing data could be something that you forgot to enter. It could also be something that wasn't answered. Say there's a survey and someone skips the question. They could have done it by accident or chosen not to answer. Either way, it's missing data. You don't have the answer. So in a small data set like this one on the screen, you can start just by looking at the data. Do you see holes in the data? So when I say holes, I mean empty boxes. So right here, for example, or here and here, right? Clearly there's something missing. Sometimes you can go down here to variable view, and you can look to see if whoever inputted the data had a way to deal with missing data. In this example, it's not. There's no code for missing data. In the assignment data you were given, there is a code, and you can look at that and see the difference a little bit. Let's go back to data view. Okay, so there are decisions that you can make when you see missing data. If there are just a very few cases missing, you can exclude those few. If what's missing is just in one particular variable, and that's not a super important variable for what you're doing, you can just exclude the variable. Another thing you can do is substitute the mean value for the missing data. There are actually a lot of other decisions you can make, but go beyond the scope of this class and what I expect you to know. If you're really interested in cleaning data and you want to know what those other decisions could be, let me know and I can give you some more information. So if we go back to this data set, we've already seen that there's some things missing, right? So you would have made a decision on what you need to do. In this case, you see there's 2 missing out of 10. A fifth of the data is missing. I would say in such a small data set, that's not something I would want to just exclude. But again, for this particular example, because I've not told you what anything is, you see up here there's codes. You can look on variable view, and it's not entered here, so you have no idea on this example, but it's fine. You decide what to do. Whether you just entered a code in for missing, a lot of times it's 9, as long as it's not a continuous variable, because 9 could be a response. Or you could enter the mean in score. And probably for this example, that's what I would do because you don't have more information to make the decision. But I think that's sort of the most basic choice, either a code for missing or entering in the mean. So the next piece of cleaning data is you kind of want to look for mistakes, right? Mistakes and error. It's really easy to press the wrong button. And particularly if it's a large data set and you're entering a ton of stuff, you may miss that you've entered the wrong one. Again, you can sort of use your eyes and you can look at the responses. You can look at the data that's in. Like if you look at variable 2, for example, you've got 3, 4, 5, 5, 7, 20, 7, 3, 5, 10. Well, your instinct could be 20 sounds like an extreme, but we're looking at it and it's obvious. If there were 100 cases, you probably wouldn't go and look. So there's ways to run tests to see what you need to do. So you can run descriptive statistics, and you go right here to descriptives. And here, because I've already done it once, all the variables are here, but if you haven't done it before, the variables would be here. You select one and move it over. It's your decision if you want to do one at a time or if you want to do all of them. You can go to options, and I've checked more boxes than are normally checked. typically these are not checked, and this is not checked. So when you are looking to run the descriptives, you want to look at the mean, the median, the skewness, the kurtosis, the minimum value and maximum value of continuous variables. And if you remember, a continuous variable is one like age or a participant number. It can be anything. It keeps going. And then if it is a dichotomous variable, right, like gender, you would find a frequency. So in this particular case, we are going to go back and check these boxes. And we'll just do 1 for now. You hit OK. And here you go. Your descriptive statistic for that first variable, right? It's telling you the minimum is 1, the maximum is 10. There's that mean, and it gives you all these other things. You're probably wondering what these things are, skewness and kurtosis. It's beyond the scope of this class. That's something that you'd really dig deep into for a statistics class, a multivariate statistics class or analysis class. But we're not going there. So you run them all. I think paying attention, what's important for you is you pay attention to the minimum, the maximum, and the mean, and that will start to give you an idea if something is off. The really important thing to do is to run a histogram. So I'm going to show you how to run a histogram, and I went to Graphs and Legacy Dialogues, and there you see histogram. So I've picked variable 1, and I checked the box, display normal curve. That's normally not checked. And you tell it OK. And in that same output window, here's my histogram. Okay, so that's variable 1. I'm going to run one other one because I want to show you the difference in the two. So I'm going to send variable 1 back, and I'm going to do variable 2. If you remember, we talked a minute ago when you use your eyes, we saw something that might be different in variable 2. So let's look at it. So here is 1, and you see it put in the normal curve, right? And here is variable 2. Looks pretty different, right? You see this is probably a mistake. It's an outlier. So this is just sort of a pictorial way of looking at the data and seeing what you need to go back and check. So if you had 100 cases and you ran this histogram and you saw something that looked like this one, you're going to go back and take a more careful look at your data for that particular one. So I hope this helps a little bit. We could spend an entire week or probably more just on cleaning data. But for the purposes of the assignment, you should just do the 2 steps above, the descriptives and the histogram, and write up what you found and any decisions you might have had to make, or might not had to make, I guess, in that way. But anyway, do those 2 things, and that's what should be in your assignment for cleaning data.